I'm Bill Monacle, and I am your Golf Pro. First of all, let me explain why Golf Pro. Well, back when I was in the PGA training program, I got my first computer and I went to get an email address, and Golf Pro was already taken. So I got thinking, well, I'm not quite a full Golf Pro yet anyway, so Golf Pro is pretty close, and most of the time when my buddies and I talk about going out, we talk about going golfing anyway. So I became Golf Pro. You can reach me now at yourgolfpro@gmail.com. So that's why that unusual name. The intent of this site is I see a lot of instruction on the web. A lot of it is printed material, and it's so hard sometimes to make that work for you. If you don't have somebody right there telling you where you've done something wrong, you don't know how to check it, you don't know how to do what you need to do to improve your game. So I am going to help you build your swing from the basics. That is your grip, your alignment, and your stance, which is what they say in the game, 80% of all your mistakes happen before you start to swing the club. So think about that. You have an 80% chance of hitting a bad shot even before you start to move. Well, if we can eliminate most of those errors and get you into a good setup and ready to swing the club, then you'll be that much better prepared to hit a decent shot. Now, lessons aren't about making you a tour pro unless you have the time and the money to invest, and we could work on that. But if you just want to play better golf, if you're a weekend golfer or a once-a-week golfer like I am, the idea is to reduce the severity and the frequency of the misses. In other words, let's get it out of the woods and into the rough, and then out of the rough and into the fairway. Maybe you don't hit the green every time, but instead of missing it by 20 to 30 yards, you only miss it by 5 yards. And the closer to the green you can get, that way you'll have more options on the next shot, so you're not always locked into that 20-yard pitch shot that's so difficult. So with that in mind, I don't know if you're a beginner or if you're looking to improve your game, but one of the first things you have to look at is, what kind of clubs do I need to have? Well, if you're a brand new beginner, it's real easy to just go to one of the big box stores and find a bag full of clubs. It's all a set and you think they're all matched. Well, by name they are, but by function, nothing could be further from the truth. For that same amount of money, I would recommend finding a used set somewhere, either Craigslist, newspaper, online, a used club store. Find a good set that has been used and at least get started that way, because the club-to-club reliability will be better if you get a top-of-the-line set than if you get one of these lesser price sets. Now, at some of the places like Dick's and Sports Authority, you can find the mid to upper grade starter sets. Now, some of those are pretty good, but for the most part, when you get to the point of ready to upgrade, I would recommend away from that. Eventually, you should think about getting fit. Go to a local club fitter, club maker, and have them fit you. Some of the big box stores now also have fitting systems where they can see what you really need to be swinging. But until you get to that point, you're just out to have fun. Pick clubs that, first of all, have a good grip on them. They're not worn, they're not slick, so that you'll be able to hang on to the club. Now, grip has two different meanings in the game of golf. Unfortunately, it talks about this piece of synthetic material on the end. This used to be either leather or rubber. Nowadays, with all the synthetics, there are a number of different ones you can get. So that is one grip. The other grip they talk about is how you put your hands on your club. You take your grip. So for right now, we're talking about this thing on the end of the shaft. So make sure that it's in good shape. First of all, think of the size, because when you put your hands on there, you wrap it around too far, it's not going to be helpful in your golf swing. So you can always look on the end of the club and it's labeled. You can get everything from, this is from my wife's set, a lady shaft compared to what I use, which is a jumbo. They come in regular, mid-size, oversized, and jumbo. I highly recommend the chamois jumbo if you have large hands. It's a great shaft extension to be able to feel what is going on with the golf club. If you're just buying a used set, you won't have that wide a variety. But if you pick the club up, does it feel balanced in your hands? Does it have enough weight in the head that you can feel where that head is as you're swinging it? If it feels like a broomstick, you're probably going to swing it like a broomstick. So find something that feels good. Eventually, when you get fit, they will start talking about the length of the shaft, the lie, and the flex and the frequency. These are all important things. Let's talk about the lie real quick. That is the shaft angle where it comes into the ground. So you can see by this that if you have the wrong length shaft, you'll be hitting either too far out or too short if the shaft is too short. Or if the shaft is too short for your height, you may be swinging more upright, as we call it, and you'll be hitting the toe first, which will cause the face to open up. If it's the wrong length, you can also, or the wrong lie, you hit the heel first, it's going to turn the club face down, and then you're going to have shots going offline just because the club doesn't fit you. Since everybody's different, there's a standard, but unfortunately, from club maker to club maker, they don't use the same standard. That's especially true when talking about shafts. If one company has a stiff flex, the next company's stiff flex may not be exactly the same thing. That's where club fitting can really come into your advantage, is to be able to know exactly what you need, and then that club fitter, the club maker, can put that in your set for you. Another thing they talk about is frequency, which is the way they do that is they clamp down on one end and then they pull it down with a weight on it and see how fast it goes back and forth, and the little machine will count that out. And even that isn't the same from manufacturer to manufacturer. Some of them use a 2.5 inch vise and others use a 5 inch. So that's going to make the shaft vary just because of the technique they use. So those are the kind of things that are going to affect picking a golf club. So to start out with, find something that feels good. Have just enough weight in the club head that you can tell where it is, because once we get into the swing, you'll find out why that is more important as we talk about feel, as we talk about mechanics, as we get into the hard part, which is, since we're not machines, we cannot do it the same way every time, unless you're going to hit a couple hundred balls a day. But the main thing is, like I said, let's reduce the frequency and the severity of our misses. So until the next time, remember, if you're going to miss them straight. Thanks.